Should I be selling right now?
I gotta get a bigger place.
What's my house worth? What do you think? What's my house really worth?
Do we need to renovate? Oh, that's pretty. How do I buy a house?
What if I don't have time to see it in person?
What is going on with this housing market?
Don't worry. I can take the guesswork out of it.
All right, welcome.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year, and I'm supposed to have confetti dropping right now, and I don't have confetti, so I apologize.
Do I
but
need
hey,
to get some?
we need to throw some confetti around here.
You know what? You've never been good at party throwing anyway.
Exactly. I thought
Even though that wasn't positive, I'm going to take that back.
I know.
Honey, you could be better at party throwing. I don't know.
I thought I had confetti. I apologize, but hey, Happy New Year.
Anyway, Happy New Year.
This is Robert Maria
to you.
McArtor. We're super excited that you're joining with us tonight. You could be anywhere. Anywhere. You could be out in the snow freezing right now, but you decided to come in the warmth and get that glass of hot coffee and cocoa and sit down with the show with us.
We have my coffee from Wawa.
We have senior placements by Patty in the house tonight, and it is going to be an awesome time with her.
Excited about that.
It's going to be a lot of education, a lot of information that she's going to share. And we're just excited that you are joining with us. Please feel free. You can start commenting. Give us a thumbs up that you like the show so far. And when you comment, we're going to bring them on board and answer any questions that you have as far as what real estate questions or any questions for Patty as well. So we'll
or
talk
the
about
community.
that.
I'm willing to try to answer anything if I can.
That's right. We have a calendar of events. We have market stats that I want to share with you as well. And we'll dive right into the show in just a second. All right, welcome back. We're going to have a great time tonight. This is Robert Maria McArtor with Let's Talk Real Estate Live.
Yes.
We're back in action in 2025. This is our very first program. We're going to have many, many more to
It should
come
have been red, white,
throughout
and blue.
the year. Yeah,
Maybe
it should
that'll
have
be
been
the next one.
Probably the next one.
That's after the inauguration, though. Let me look.
Exactly, right?
I'm going to look that date up now. Oh, okay. I feel like we should be fancier dressed.
Yeah, well,
exactly. It is the 9th.
That's all right.
It's
exactly.
The 9th. It's so hard to believe. Oh, the 8th. Thank God I'm rushing.
We are on social media, by the way. We're on Maryland Homes Team on Facebook. We're streaming live there right now. We do have an Instagram account. Please follow us there if you want to get all kinds of posts that we do for properties that are coming up and information and fun things as far as we're listing.
It's okay.
Take two.
Beep.
We are streaming live to LinkedIn as well. And we also have a Twitter account. If you want to watch Maria and I dance, you could do that by going to our Twitter account. And we're also streaming live to YouTube. So make sure that you follow us there. Also, if you want to grab a little bit of Team Merch account, you can do that. Just go to teammerch.com, teammerch.com. And we have all kinds of shirts and mugs and things like that. Any monies that are made from that goes to local charities that we enjoy. And also, if you're watching us right now on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. It really helps our channel out, and we really do appreciate that. Again, if you are watching us right now, please feel free to comment, give us a thumbs up, and we would love to be able to engage with you a little bit later. And also, just FYI, you could also call in tonight. So if you call in, we will try and get you on the air with any questions or comments that you may have about the program and the interview that we're going to do. So that'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, exactly.
Infomercial beep.
Infomercial beep. Yep, take two. And I want to welcome in the house. So typically we talk about a real estate topic, right? We're going to save a couple of those things till the very end.
But we got to do our gratitudes.
And we have to do our gratitudes.
Are you like not keeping on our schedule?
I'm keeping on our schedule.
Are you? Okay.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, you start the gratitudes. You start.
Not gratitude. Okay, so what was one of your favorite memories in 2024?
2024. By the way, before I do that, because I have a squirrel thing going on right now, guess what I found?
A squirrel.
Look,
Oh, we did have squirrels
I
in the attic.
found the
That's no
confetti.
fun.
I found the confetti. So
just
I'm
saying,
just letting you know that.
I'm always late. For
I'm
the first time
sorry.
ever, you are late.
I am late to the confetti to the party, but
This is the second time this year.
well,
I was
we,
one time
we
for the
have to
wedding.
release it from the ceiling. I mean, we
Okay.
have to release it
Well,
sometime. So
It's
I
better
do.
late than never.
Exactly. Okay, I digress.
All
Go
right.
ahead. Back
On that
to you.
note, no. I've already asked you. It's back to you.
Oh no. Yeah, but what's your question? Were you asking something specifically?
What were you going to give your gratitude for? What was your favorite memory in 2024?
My favorite memory in 2024. What's my favorite memory? I have several memories. Of course,
Well,
they're
that's
personal. They're not
awesome.
business. They're personal.
They don't need to be business.
My favorite memory is just the fact that we're getting together with our kids and our grandkids a little bit more often. We're able to see our kids, our daughter down in Lake Norman, North Carolina, which those moments become a little bit more special, because we don't see them as often as we did
Yes.
when they lived here in Harford County. So
Yes.
that's probably a more personal moment for me. There's many, many different business moments, but we don't have to get into that.
Well, that's your choice.
Yeah. So
That's
what
up to
about you?
Mine will probably always be personable.
Yes.
For me, it is truly the friendships we've built this year in our business.
That's correct.
That you during the process of buying or selling a home, you develop a relationship. It becomes either stronger, and if you're doing your job well, it becomes definitely stronger. So we are grateful for so many that we've helped downsize and simplify their life, because simplifying is so much easier than having way too much to do. So I think those are probably we probably have helped last year. I guess I need to take actually mental note. 11 families moved out of the state and a couple in state, but to downsize and retire and, be in their forever home and just enjoy their life.
That's right. Yeah.
And can you name 3 of the top states people are moving most likely to as retirement approaches?
Yes.
Okay. Just 3. I know the 5.
Texas, Florida, and Tennessee.
Nope. I don't think Tennessee is.
I know quite a few people that are moving to Tennessee. I don't
But
know.
South Carolina and
South Carolina.
North
Yeah,
Carolina.
that's correct.
Yeah.
Yes, I do agree
Yeah.
with that. Yep.
I'm going to double check that. Tennessee might.
There's a lot of people moving out of Florida right now, and then a lot of that is just because of the fees that have gone up because
of the
insurance.
influx. Well, the influx
Because of
that came
insurance.
in
Yep.
during the last 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of insurance has been hiked in that area, and
Right.
people just can't afford it. They can't afford to live down there.
Right.
So,
Alrighty.
Alrighty, we're going to jump into our
Okay.
show. We have with us, Senior Placements by Patty. Miss Patty is with us. Let's give her a round of applause as she joins in with us on the show. Patty, how are you doing?
Hi, Robert and Maria. Thank you for having me on board and having me as your first show for the new year. I feel honored.
We've been working
exciting.
on this for a little while, right? I know.
We have,
right?
absolutely.
And I'm so glad to have you on. I have to tell everyone before we get started that I saw you online. You were actually commenting on some other posts and things like that. And I said, you know what? That is information that people need to know. People need to know about senior placements, about placing their loved ones.
Absolutely.
And because we don't plan that. We really don't. Maria and I, we
Some
don't think
people
about
do.
we don't think
My
about
parents
assisted living
do.
for us, but
We don't.
yeah, but so I saw
We
you online.
haven't.
Yeah, I saw you commenting and things like that, and I reached out to you. And this was several months ago. I know that.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad we were able to connect and get you on board here so we can
Same
dive into
here.
this most important subject, though. So introduce
Because
yourself.
most of the time, families are, they don't think about senior living and having to place mom and dad or until it really starts to become a crisis. And then they're in crisis mode. It's urgent that they need to find a placement. So I'm happy to be on board and share some information and maybe educate some families where they can do their due diligence before it becomes a urgent placement that's needed.
Yeah, and that's what we need. That's what this program is all
Yes.
about: is educating our community, and we're really
Being
excited to
a
have you on.
resource of
So,
good information.
so
Exactly.
introduce yourself to everyone who's watching right now, who's watching in the future,
Sure.
and let us know what you're doing.
So I'm Patty, and I am the owner of Senior Placements by Patty. I have been doing senior care in some sort for the past 35 years. Started out at Stella Maris Nursing Home many years ago when I was just a young teenager, and then stayed there for several years until I had my kids, and then kind of took a little bit of a hiatus to raise my family and then went back into senior care. I ran the adult medical daycare up at the college here in Harford County for many years. And then thought, with kids going into college soon, I need to do something, even though that was so rewarding and fulfilling to me, it wasn't necessarily paying the college tuition. And I decided to go into sales and marketing. I've worked several of the big assisted livings around Harford County and Baltimore County, and really just felt like I wasn't doing the best that I could. I could help families get into senior living, but it was always directing them to that community that I was working for. I couldn't just share all the wonderful communities that were around Baltimore County, Harford County, and Cecil County. I was just the community that I was working for. And 3 years ago, I thought, I'm done with this. I want to do something where I can help families make the best decision for their loved one, and not just guide them to one particular community. So 3 years ago, Senior Placements by Patty was started. And I absolutely love what I do. I get to meet wonderful families, usually when they're in crisis mode, and I am able to help them navigate that process and really walk through that process with them, holding their hand. And then I have the luxury that once the family member gets placed, I can still stay in touch with that family. I can see how their parent is thriving and enjoying the last few years of their lives, and that they're not just sitting at home isolating themselves. So feel very
That's
blessed.
awesome.
Maria, you asked, what is my greatest memory of 2024? You were asking, Robert. And I have to tell you, I have two great memories. My first great memory of 2024 was to see my son get married.
Oh,
Found the love of his life and proposed to her, and they got married in November. So a shout out to Emily and Danny for
Yes.
two,
oh,
2 months. Um, but I think the greatest blessing too that I saw in 2024 was I was able to help so many families really find their parents' forever home, where their loved ones being taken care of,
right.
and the children can rest easy knowing that mom and dad are in good hands.
That's a gift. That's just a
It
gift.
is. It,
The
it
peace of
truly is.
mind.
Maria, I tell my families all the time, they give to me more than I can ever give to them,
That's
really,
amazing.
truly.
Mm.
It's a
So
good feeling to be able to do a good
it
thing
it
for someone
is.
else. And I don't think any of
Absolutely.
us, I mean, right now, my parents are very healthy. They walk 3 miles a day. My mother, they
That's
hardly ever eat
wonderful.
out. My mother's Italian. My father's Peruvian, so they cook a lot in. So they're, I don't even want to say knock on wood because I don't believe in that, but I'm going to knock on wood anyway. And they're
Exactly.
healthy
Knocking too.
and like we don't plan. I don't think any child,
I don't
any
think
adult
any
child
child plans for
plans,
that.
oh, my parents are going to get cancer, or my mom, or my dad, or my aunt that I'm taking care of is going to get death, so sick that they're going to need some serious help, or they can't walk anymore due to whatever.
Correct.
And I know my parents, they've made plans. They don't want to ever be in a home, so they've made plans for their future in that essence, and that's probably taken a lot of relief off of us. But then again, we've never really sat down and had this full conversation of what would this look
Right.
like. It's like
Yep.
like people talk about making a will and doing all those things. Like, you don't want to think about these things, but it's harder to think about it in crisis when
Mhm.
you already have
It
so
is.
much on your
Well,
mind.
you just nailed it, because you're not thinking. You get that phone call 2 o'clock in the morning. Mom had a stroke or a
Right.
heart attack, or she
Right.
was found laying on the
Mm.
bathroom floor, and
Right.
you're not thinking, okay, then let me think about the assisted livings. What's going to be next? I mean,
Right.
you are in such a crisis mode that
Right.
your brain just isn't thinking fast enough of what's going to happen. And then when
Right.
you're actually living that, it's hard to know what is the next step or
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
communities can you trust, because you hear so
Right.
many bad things nowadays on the
Yes.
news about our seniors being neglected or abused.
Right.
Absolutely.
How do you know that you can trust these places?
And that's the
Um,
worst feeling, to think you put someone in a place, someone you love and who's
and
loved you
something
your whole
happens to
life,
them.
right? And we had good friends. Their mom got sick, and they found a place up here for them in our area in Falston, and they thought it was just perfect, brand new. Met the chef, met the owner,
Right?
and she was being terribly abused. Like when she sent me
Abuse.
pictures of her,
That just, oh, that
they were
breaks my heart.
horrible. Like it was, and I was like, oh my gosh. And she's like, "Maria, we have to make a quick decision." But like, you don't
And
want to
then
make a
Maria,
quick
then they have to
decision,
do all of this over again because they
yeah.
didn't pick the right place the first time.
And
And nobody wants to have to walk that walk a second time.
so, Patty, do you have background of the places to recommend? Like you have, like people you could directly speak to, so you trust them. You know,
I do. So,
that's good.
sometimes people will ask me, what's the difference between using me as a referral source or some of the ones that you see advertised on television? There's
Mhm.
lots of big ones advertised on television. First and foremost, the best thing about using someone local like myself is going to be just that. We are
Right.
local to the
Mhm.
community. We know the facilities that we are referring to, the communities that we are suggesting are places where we know the executive directors, we know the staff there, we have placed families there, we've done our research to find out, what deficiencies do they have, what type of deficiencies, how are they correcting them, what are their plans of correction if they're having any. um, when you call these 1-800 numbers and you speak to someone, often you're talking to somebody in another state. They're not
Mhm.
even in Maryland talking to you. And all they're doing is getting on their laptop, Googling your zip code,
Mm,
and then saying, these are the places to reach out to. They've never stepped foot into the communities. When
right.
you use a
Right.
local referral agency, we live in these areas. We know
Mhm.
those communities.
Right.
So when I go and I check out a place, I'm going to look at their state deficiencies. You can pull that information up right online. I'm going to go in, I'm going to meet with the executive directors. I want to meet with their staff. I want to talk to their staff, find out, do you have happy employees? Because we all know if you have happy employees, you're going to have happy employees taking good care of your clients too.
Right.
Then, I look at the longevity. How long has staff members been there? Is there a high turnover rate at the communities?
True. That's a good point.
So I am actually in and out of these places all the time. I had a family just yesterday tell me, Patty, everybody knows you when you walk in that door. Everyone's coming up to you saying, Patty, good to see you. Happy New Year, and giving you a hug.
Right.
It's because I'm
Oh,
in there all the time.
and that says a lot. It's a peace of mind again.
Mhm.
And so, Patty, how does it go? Like, okay, so one of our parents, we realize is going to need more help. They
Mhm.
can't live on their own.
Yep.
Like, what is the next step? Like, how do we even find you? Like, I wouldn't even know
So,
how to Google like help
Um,
me with my
I
mom.
am on I am on Facebook, I am on LinkedIn. I have my brochures out at all of the local doctors' offices. It's
Oh, that's
in the
good.
hospitals with the case managers.
Right.
So
Right.
they all have my contact information.
Right.
So let's say mom or dad have had an acute illness that's taken them into the hospital. Upon discharge, the case manager is going to give them one of my brochures and my information. When the family reaches out to me, I do a very extensive intake assessment. I will spend about a half an hour to 45 minutes talking with the family member, really drilling down on specific questions about
Right.
what type of help mom or dad needs. What are their interests? What were they like as a young adult? Because often I'll have families say, Mom and Dad just sits in and watches TV. That's what they do for all the time. Well, when they were in their 20s and 30s, they were out playing cards with friends, or they were out at dances, or, involved in clubs and organizations. that information I want to take back with me, because I'm going to really help find communities that are going to engage them again, prevent them from being socially isolated, getting them involved in activities again, because that's the key to them thriving and
Right.
enjoying the latter years of their life.
Yeah. So Dancy had a question. Do you help getting funding? Do you help with getting funding for these folks?
Yep. So what I can do is I really look at what their budget is. I'll sit down with the family and I do ask some specific questions about what kind of income is coming in from Social Security or pensions, if they have a house to sell, or do they have, what type of assets that they have. If I find that, a family is not financially able to pay for assisted living, sometimes it is, again, checking to see, did dad or mom belong to the military? Do they qualify for what's called aid and attendance? Um, that's money that a lot of people don't know is available to their parent. They would have had to have served just one day during wartime and had been in the service for a minimum of 30 days. But if they meet that qualification and financially they have to have less than, I think it's 125 or $150,000, they can get anywhere from about 1,800 to $2,400. That's a big chunk of money.
That's a big
That's
chunk.
a big
Yeah.
Yes.
help when
Yes.
we're looking at
Huge.
assisted livings. Sometimes I'm not able to get them that financial funding, but I help them go to the next level of somebody who can help them get on the Medicaid waiver. The Medicaid waiver is a state funded program where if their parents, they just don't have the money to pay privately, they can go onto the Medicaid waiver, and I can kind of guide them. I know which facilities to kind of stay away from and which
Right.
facilities that
Right.
I would place my own loved one in.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's great.
So,
This
Patty, this is.
Good
Oh, I'm
question.
sorry, honey. You go
No,
ahead.
I'm just saying. I mean, there's so much to take in. Everything that you've shared with us, and I just keep thinking to myself, over all the years that I've been in my business, how many elders that we've taken care of. And
Exactly.
and typically as an agent, we step into the process, and a lot of times the kids have already arranged things for their parents,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And a lot of times from the outside, we look at that situation and we think they're doing the best that they can for their parents, but a lot of
Exactly.
times they can do so much better, though, right? If they had the resources available to them, if they had the knowledge of someone like you and your services to be able to tap into, to help make those decisions or help with their moms and dads to make those decisions for them. So,
I
as an
hear that
agent, I
so
love
much.
this. Yeah, I love this as an agent to be able to refer someone like you to a client that is making these really hard decisions, because a lot of times we come in at the very end. We're helping with the staging,
Right.
we're helping with clearing out the house, with the loved
Correct.
ones, with kids taking personal effects, personal belongings that they really want, and disposing of the rest. We typically come in towards the end. I would love to be right up front and help them right in the very beginning by referring them to someone just like you.
I mean, when I first meet with the children, they really are, they're at their wits' ends. They don't know what to do. They've been either battling long-term health issues with mom and dad. Mom and dad aren't taking their medications. They are not taking their properly. If they're taking them, maybe they're not taking them appropriately and on time, or their nutrition is so bad. And, the kids are trying to help by supplementing, bringing food into the house or going grocery shopping or managing their medicines. And the kids are overwhelmed because they have families of their own that they're taking care of. So they're really running two households. Um, and sometimes it's just sitting down with the kids and saying, it's okay to say you can't handle this, that you need help, that they don't have to feel guilty about it. I honestly been doing this for so long that I can say 9 times out of 10, the parents do a whole heck of a lot better than what the kids think they're going to do. The kids will tell me, my mom and dad are going to die in there. They don't want to go into an assisted living. That's the last thing that they want. Well, mom and dad get into this environment and they're thriving again. They're doing all of the things that they used to love to do. They've got friends again. They're realizing their friends are having the same issues that they're having. I'm not the only one who can't hear when you say something and I have to say, can you say that again? Or I'm not the only one
That's
that
right.
am walking slower or needing to know where the bathrooms are if we're going out. They're all having the same similar problems. So you see their parent just emerge again. Like it's like they've been hiding and sheltering themselves because they're afraid of people knowing that they're having these issues, these deficits. But when they see other people having the same problem, they just blossom again in that environment.
That's
Mm.
awesome.
Let me ask you something, Patty. So, in the very beginning stages, who is the person contacting you? Do you find it that it's the kids that are contacting you first?
It is
Okay.
usually the children.
Hmm.
The kids will call me and say, "Hey, mom just was taken to the hospital. Hospital staff is saying that they think that she needs 24-hour care. What do we do?" Either I sit down with them, or my nurse does. I do have a registered nurse one with my company. So either Emily will sit down with the family or my social worker will. That's kind of what makes me a little different from a lot of the other referral agencies, is that I do employ an RN and a licensed social worker.
That's
Um,
great.
That's
they
great.
work as an as needed basis. So
Mhm.
when I have some more medically complex clients that I'm working with, I usually pull Emily in. Or if there's a lot of different diversity going on in the family, and they 3 or 4 kids and they're not all on the same page, I can pull Christina in, and we can kind of sit down with the family and work through those issues. But I'll sit down with the family and we will do a formal assessment. It typically takes about a half an hour. We'll find out questions like, what type of help do they need? Do they need maybe just some gentle reminders and some prompting? Is it just medicine management or meal preparation that they need? Or is it that they need a little bit more assistance? They need help with their activities of daily living, going to the restroom, getting changed, showering. So
Right.
we'll drill
Right.
down on all of that, and then we can gauge what kind of communities we think would be best. We work with the finances to see what they would financially be eligible for.
That's awesome. So I know this is maybe an awkward, but it's an important question. Do the families pay you directly? How do you get paid?
No, so the families do not pay me at all. Um, I tell my families I am a real estate agent for the seniors, is what I tell my families. So families talk to me, I give them advice. The only thing that I ask in return is that the families allow me to make that initial contact with the community, because that's how I get paid. Once a family chooses a particular community, that community pays me a referral fee. Um, so if they're dealing with multiple agents, it's kind of like dealing with multiple real estate agents. It gets a little confusing who sent you where. So I just ask families that that's the only commitment that I ask, is that you don't use multiple referral sources, and that you don't reach out to these big ones that you see advertised on television and you hear on the radio, because sometimes that takes you down a rabbit hole. You'll see it advertised on TV, give 1-800 number, give us a call and we can help you. And they get online and they Google a specific assisted living. Let's say it's, like Forest Hill Heights or Lorient or Brightview. Um, they think they're actually talking to a representative from those communities, but
Right.
they're actually talking to a referral company, these big 1-800 numbers.
Hmm.
And they basically say, okay, Maria, so your mom is having problems, and Maria, your mom's name is, and they email blast to all of the communities, your phone number, your contact information, and what's going on with your mom.
There's a
Well, guess what's
Zillow
going
out
to
there for
happen, Maria?
seniors.
You
Look
know
at
what?
that.
Patty, I
It
was
is.
going to say
So,
this is
Maria,
almost
guess what's going
duplicating
to
the Zillow.
happen? You're going to
Oh,
get about 100 phone calls from a
Right?
various different
oh,
places saying, Maria, let me talk to you about your mom. That's only going to stress you out
It
even
is.
more.
oh. That's Zillow in our
It's
business.
terrible.
That's
Yeah.
like the they break confidentiality. They'll bug you to death and
That's why it's so
all that
important to
stuff.
develop a relationship. You know, you
Yes.
develop a relationship, and as a kid, let's say with my parents that are in need, I want to tap into your resource. I want to tap into your all these years of experience that's going to help guide my parents. And
I have families tell me that all the time.
at that point, I'd much rather you contact, where you believe that
Yep.
my parents should go.
Should go.
And it's worth it, to me.
Yep. So that's the only thing I ask of my families is to let me make that initial contact because that's how I would get paid.
Sure.
And my families always tell me, Patty, we would love for you to take that off of our plate, make those
Right.
phone calls, arrange
Sure.
those tours. So I
Sure.
usually just ask them for a parameter, what days and times work best for them to give me an idea. And then I schedule the tours. I actually meet my families there. You probably have seen my little red Lexus around town that says senior placements by Patty on all the
Well, I'm
sides.
gonna be
So I
looking
just tell
now.
families, I say, I'm going to pull into the parking lot. When you pull in, just give me a little wave or nod so I know it's you, and we'll walk
Oh,
into the communities together.
right.
So I actually walk through the buildings with my clients, pointing out the good things, the bad things, the questions that
Sure.
we should be asking. So I really do hold my family's hands.
That's awesome. I want to take a break real quick and say hi to a couple fellow agents that have
Great.
joined us. Said this is good information for them too. Hi, Judy and Dancy. We appreciate you joining in tonight, and we're glad that you're here. Um, so, Patty, let me ask. Can I ask you, like, do you? I don't know. Like in real estate, we have to be very careful about saying certain things. And can you say what places you like the best? What placement? Assisted livings,
We
like
have so many wonderful placements here in Harford County and Baltimore County. Um, I mean, I've worked with some wonderful people. I've actually placed my mother in a facility here in Harford County, and I have placed most recently, my mother in law into a memory care unit. So, when I tell my families that I understand, I really do understand. I've walked the walk with you, so I do get it. But I think there's so many here in Harford County and Baltimore County. I wouldn't do everybody justice if I did a shout out to all of them.
I
I
think a
would
lot
be
of it has
afraid
to do,
I'd miss some of them.
sure. I think a lot of it has to do with the level of care that they need as well. And that's something I wanted to kind of just transition over and just talk
Yes.
about the different types of facilities that are available. And if you want to comment on these, and as we discussed, and those that are watching right now,
Yeah.
we'll go right down the list here. How about independent living?
So independent living, we have several here in Harford County. Um,
name
we've
one. I'm just curious. So my granny went into the
So
Catholic
the biggest
charities.
one is going to be Avondale. They are
Where is
down
that?
off of is that McPhail Road or Ring Factory? They're on Ring Factory. You have Brightview on one side, and then you have Avondale on the other. That's the
Okay.
independent living. So
Okay.
Avondale is your independent living here, and then Brightview would be its sister community. So if they were living in independent and could no longer do that, usually they would transition over across the street
Okay.
to Brightview
I
Senior
can't
Living
place that in my
for
head
assisted living.
that there's one right
Sure.
across the street. What road is it on Ring Factory?
It's on West Ring Factory.
Okay.
It's right there where the park is,
Okay.
off of
Yes, 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 yes. At the corner
24.
there.
So what are the
Yes.
Yes, right on the
benefits,
corner.
or what is what is required, let's say, of mom or dad or both to go into
So for independent living, it really is very much just like renting an apartment.
Mhm.
There's no doctor paperwork that has to be filled out. There's no state paperwork and forms that need to be filled out. It really is just going, checking it out to see if that community is going to best suit your mom or dad's needs. They tend to do 2 meals a day. They usually offer a breakfast and a dinner. You're usually on your own. They have various different apartment sizes for you to choose from. They really is like I say, it's like a luxury cruise ship. There's all kinds of activities. They have different restaurants, pubs, and bars that you can go to. They have woodworking. They have a pool. So it really is the ultimate in senior living.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
As
great.
I'm thinking
So
$4,800, that's an awfully nice house you're going to be living in.
it is. And
And
I mean, the rooms can be very nice. They, obviously go by square footage, and the price is
sure.
then by the square footage. But, you know, really nice 1, 2 bedroom apartments that they can do. Some even have a den. So for that cost, you're getting your housing, you're getting meals, you're getting
Right.
all of the entertainment, all of the amenities that the community
Right.
offers.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you do have some independent senior housing, which are subsidized housing. So that's going to be for people who it's on an as need basis
Yeah, my
financially
granny
as
was
need.
in the Catholic Charities in Abingdon. And
Yes, my mom and dad was there too
I
for
think she
about
was
10
well
years.
cared for. And, but I
They
mean,
were wonderful there.
she was on a very tight budget. And her place was little, but she didn't need a lot. It was just her. No
No,
pets.
my
She
that
just,
was the same thing with my parents. And, as the kids, we tried to make sure that we took them out once a week. Somebody
right.
was always there to take them out to dinner.
Yes.
So they didn't feel like they were just in that
Yeah.
smaller
We
apartment.
actually
But
helped
they
them.
made a lot of friends, and, they had precautions
Yes.
in there. Like they had the safety pendant. So,
Yes.
once mom fell and she had to hit the button, and it called the
Right. Right.
emergency paramedics to come.
Yeah.
So, and they do some crafts. They don't really have a full-time activities person on staff,
Right.
but a lot of the people that
Random.
live there would just say, hey, we're going to get a bingo started, or we're going to
Yeah.
play some cards, come on
Yeah.
down to the rec
Yeah.
center. So it served its purpose,
That's
and
And
great.
we
it
got
was
them
based on a
planting.
financial need.
I love to garden because my granny gardened and she would come and boss me around, which
Yes,
I'm pretty about people bossing me around. If I'm learning something, so
my
we got them to
dad
start.
had his garden there. It was important to him. That was
Yes,
something that
we
was
helped them
important.
start
So
that
he had
garden
his
when they had
garden.
just opened. And I was like,
Yes.
whether it lives or dies, let them go
Well,
and
your
have
granny was
something.
probably there when my parents were, because my parents were the first tenants to live there when it opened.
I bet she was. I bet she was.
That's great. What do you think about, explain assisted living for those
Yep.
that don't know anything about that?
So assisted living is where they're going to really take care of mom and dad's medication management. They're going to take care of their meal preparation. They'll get 3 meals a day in the assisted living, but they are there to really address all of their activities of daily living, which are, dressing, bathing, feeding. They really oversee all of that. Here in
Mm,
Harford County, almost all of ours here in Harford County are licensed for up to level 3 care. So what that means is facilities can be licensed for 1, 2, or 3.
mm,
One is usually clients who are a little more independent. They just may need that prompting to take their medications, somebody to make meals for them. Level 2 is going to be someone who needs a little bit more assistance, maybe those gentle reminders, it's time to come down for dinner, or it's time to take your medication. Or level 3 care is pretty much someone who is total care, that they're doing all their bathing, dressing, and feeding. So you have a couple different options here in Harford County. You have ones that are like your big communities, your Brightview, your Viva, Forest Hill Heights, your Lorien. They're the big ones. Or you have the option to go into smaller homes, things that are done and run out of someone's home. Those tend to have less than 15 clients in them, where the bigger ones are going to have 16 or more.
So, what kind of
They're all run by the
certifications?
state the same exact way. They same exact state license that they have to follow. The difference is when you have 16 clients or less, you can have a residential kitchen. When you have
Mm,
17 or more clients, you have to have a commercial kitchen. So
mm.
that really is the only difference between an assisted living done out of someone's home, or an assisted living that is, a big corporation run.
So, how about certifications, licensing, training? Like, for those different levels. I mean, I would imagine there would need to be an RN. I mean, you tell me. I mean, I would hope so.
So you okay. So for all of the assisted livings, they have to go through state requirements. There are certain things that they have to have: fire safety, food safety handling. They have to have evacuation drills. They have to have training for medicine management. I mean, there's a whole list of what the state requires.
Right.
When you get into specific care like memory care, then there are additional requirements on that. Um, but as far as having an RN, you'll be surprised. I I can't believe it myself sometimes. There is no state requirement stating that they have to have an RN in the building. You automatically assume there's going to have to be an RN, right, in the building.
Yeah.
They
Right.
don't. An RN only has to be in the building once every 45
You
days.
gotta love
They
Maryland.
do have to have a
Sorry.
delegating nurse, but that nurse
Like,
does not need to be in the building. So that's going to kind of be some of your differences between a big assisted
sure.
living and a small one. Your bigger assisted livings pretty much are going to have a nurse on property 24/7.
Mhm.
Your smaller homes, they're not financially able to have a nurse there. It wouldn't be
Sure.
Mm.
cost effective. So they only have a nurse on call and have that nurse on property once every 45 days.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So the next one on my list here to kind of go through memory care. Now I never really heard of
I
memory care.
know. I need to sign you
So
up.
please share with us, Patty, about this. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so memory care is going to be a smaller community. They usually have less than 20 clients that live in a memory care unit. That is going to be a locked unit. Often, the clients that are in memory care, their dementia has progressed to a point where they are often wanderers. They are exit seeking. They're trying to leave the building. That's kind of what's prompted them to move into a memory care because
Oh.
they were found wandering down on the road.
So DNC, you
Um,
would appreciate this because she just would appreciate this. That's all I'm gonna say. This is
who's that?
DNC who's joined us, one of our real estate agents on our team. She's been
Yeah.
caring for her mom, and it's
I've
been
just
doing.
had to put my mother-in-law into a memory care unit. So I I really do understand. My mother-in-law's been in a unit for 3 weeks now. But I'm happy to say she's doing really well. She's thriving in that environment. So, but a memory care is definitely going to be a smaller, highly trained staff. The staff has to be trained differently. They have to really have emphasis on dementia and the different aspects of how it can manifest itself. So they are definitely highly trained staff. Often the environment is going to be different. The hallways are going to be wider for the clients to wander around. The doors are going to have frosted glass on it. So, they can't see out and think, oh, I want to go down the street because I see my car parked around the corner. It'll
Mm.
Oh,
have frosted glasses. The exits a lot of times will be decorated so they look like they're bookshelves or that they're not an exit. So people aren't trying to open the door to get out. They usually wear like a wander guard on their wrist. So if they
mm,
would get out, an alarm's going to go off. Um, the staff, everything is brought in. It's a very inclusive environment. All of their meals are brought in, all of their activities are brought in. They really don't usually commingle with the bigger communities. Sometimes they do, but really it's a much smaller scale. They do very small activities that last only a half an hour chunk at a time because anything over that can be a little intimidating for the client, or
Sure.
it's too taxing on that
mm.
resident.
Can you name one in Harford County?
Yeah, so in Harford County, there's actually only 3 memory care units. You know, I always tell families, a lot of places will say, "Oh, we can do dementia care or we're dementia care certified." There are only 3 communities in Harford County that actually have that second license to be a memory care unit. That is going to be your Viva in Forest Hill. It used to be called Commonwealth. Forest Hill Heights in Forest Hill has the memory care. And then Brightview Senior Living also has the memory care. They call it Wellspring. But they are the only 3 facilities in Harford County that is licensed as a true designated memory care.
Yeah, that's why I think it's so important. These facilities, they offer different levels of care, and just
They do.
having you as a resource to know this, I think is just so important for the families out there that are watching.
I just spoke to a family a little while ago, and she's like, my friend told me I need to call you because you've already done all the legwork. You've done the hard part. I just get answers from you. And I'm like, that's true. That's exactly what I try to help my families with, is to give you the answer so you don't have to do that legwork.
And if
And
you've
then I can
already
educate you and you make the decision what you think is best for your
right,
family member.
right.
Exactly.
Especially if you're still working full time and you're trying to help your parents and you're juggling different hats, you've got your own children
Right.
to do
You're
things with
managing
and
your own
stuff.
household, I tell the families,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and this is what we say in our business is that you'd want to work with a professional who has the answers for you and has done this. And instead of trying to guess it for yourself, and learn the hard
And
way, we especially
Marie,
when
I'm
you're
glad you just because there's a lot of places that are wannabe senior advisors. And I try to tell my families, make sure that whoever you're talking to is a professional, that it's not just somebody who I used to be a nurse or I used to be a patient care aide
right,
in the communities and I think I
right,
know them. You want to look for somebody who is certified as a senior advisor.
right.
Yes.
I have the certification that I am a certified dementia practitioner. So that means I have taken extensive classes and courses on dementia training. So I have that knowledge. I am also insured. You want to make sure that you're working with somebody who is insured, somebody who's certified, who's insured. And the big one is that you're registered through the state. I'm actually registered through the state as a certified dementia care practitioner, and I am certified as a senior advisor as well.
Yeah.
That's awesome to have all that
Yeah,
about you.
that's great.
So make
Um,
sure you're working with a professional because there's a lot of people who think, oh, I've worked in an assisted living for 5 years. I think I can tell families what to look for in assisted living.
Yeah, when we
oh
refer
yes,
people, I mean, obviously we want, our reputation's on the line as well. We want the best
right,
service
You just
for our
right.
nailed it.
clients. So we do appreciate that.
Yep.
Definitely. Yeah.
I
What?
tell my families that all the time. I'll say, I can show you whatever you want to see, but I'm going to show you places that I would put my own loved one in.
Right,
I'm not
right,
going to take you someplace that I wouldn't
right,
feel comfortable taking my mom or dad.
right.
And if it's not a place that I've recommended to the family and they say, we want to go see such and such community, I will
Sure.
tell them it's not one that I put my name on because it's my reputation on something happens or you're not happy. My name's the one that's attached to that.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's great, Patty. So what do you think of? So share with us about nursing homes.
So, nursing homes are really going to be your skilled care. That's going to be things like wound management.
Mhm.
They're very complex, medically complex clients that are in these facilities. They're going to need that wound care from a highly trained, skilled nursing staff. Sometimes they're on IV therapy where they're getting, the intravenous drips, or they've been put on a feeding tube because they're no longer able to eat enough to keep them nourished. So they're on feeding tubes or for whatever medical condition can no longer eat food, or that they're on breathing machines. So they're the things that you're going to really see in that skilled nursing home. Once they get to that skilled nursing level, they can really apply for that Medicaid waiver. And then once money and funding runs out, they can apply for the waiver and go in under that as payment to them.
Okay, and
That's
that's, I
great.
guess, this level of care again. When you're
It
doing that
is. It's the
initial
highest
assessment,
level of care.
that is okay. So when you're doing that
That's the
initial
highest level.
assessment with a family, obviously you're able to advise them, hey, which level of care do I need to place you in? you know.
I can. I've been doing this for so long
Mhm.
that I can pretty much gauge where they're going to be. It's actually a state form that you pull right off the Maryland State website. It's a point system, and it will say, things like, can mom and dad take their own medication, or do they need reminders? Let's say they needed a reminder, it would be worth 1 point. Can they get in and out of the shower on their own and regulate the water? If we say no, that could be 2 points. You total up those points at the end. Anyone who's from a 0 to 20 is a level 1 care, 21 to 30 is a level 2, and then 30 and above is a level 3. So that's pretty much your levels of care for your assisted living. And usually once they get to like 40 points, that's going to be your skilled nursing. They're going
That's
to
great.
really need a
Oh,
lot
well,
of
Patty,
care.
we appreciate you joining us tonight and sharing
Oh,
so
thank you for
many.
having me. It was really fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad to get that information out. If there's any families out there that are watching this now or on, record later, if you
Absolutely.
need any help or just want to talk and run things past me, my services are free. I'm always available to my families. Just give me a call. My number's 410-294-2518.
Excellent. Yeah, and we'll have the links and everything
Yes.
after the show. We'll put all the links in
Great.
the description, so you'll be able to click on it. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to
Right.
click on the links, and you can
Wonderful.
always go back and take a look at this program
Right.
again. I encourage everyone to bookmark this, to save it if you're watching from YouTube right now, or refer back to it on our Facebook page. You can certainly do that as well. But this is really a lot of information. There's a lot more
Mm-hmm.
information we didn't even get to.
Mm-hmm.
So I encourage you,
I
if
know.
you're
I think we
watching,
just scratched the
we
surface
we just
here.
scratched the surface. So honestly, if you
Then they can
need
reach
any
out to
type of
Patty.
assistance
Right.
at all when it comes to placing a loved one, and you know they need some sort of care, you just don't know what type of care,
Yep.
Patty is going to be the one that's going to be able to answer those questions for
Thank
you.
you.
So I encourage you, visit her website, fill out the contact form,
Mm-hmm.
look at the services that she provides, because I think it's going to be very helpful for you and your family to really move those loved ones into the level of care that they need and they deserve. We love our
And they
moms
deserve.
and dads, right? And we
Yep.
want to be able to do that for them.
So, Patty, you can even
Well,
comment on the post, your phone number if you want to. I know
Yes.
they can click
okay.
on your website, but it might be just easier for them to even to see it there too. So feel free to
Okay.
do that.
Maria and Robert, thank you so much for having me. And I feel like we could probably talk for another 2 hours.
That's right.
This
I
is
know we
something I'm
could.
very passionate about, and I really feel very strongly about. So thank you again for having me. I
You are
really
so
appreciate
Thank
it.
welcome
you.
and
You
Happy
take
New
care.
Year.
Happy New
Thank
Year.
you.
And
Happy New Year.
I know
Thank
we'll be
you.
talking later in the year as well. So I appreciate
I'm
that.
sure.
Yep.
All right.
Take
Take
care now.
care.
Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Yep. Thank you. So that was great.
A lot of
A
information.
lot of information.
I don't. I actually dread the thought of ever having to deal with it, but
That's right.
at least I know who to call now.
Yeah, this is a great program for
know?
those who need a resource.
Yep.
And I'm so thrilled to be able to do this for our community. So,
Yes. So what
anyhow,
is
let's dive
next?
into the calendar of events.
Oh, that's
and
gonna
we'll
be
be right
awesome.
There's no need to complicate things. Let's stick to the basics. We both know what we want. Let's just keep it simple. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. We dance on the same wavelength. This feels like a new beginning. We both know what we want. Let's just keep it simple. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So won't you let me trip with you? Leaning on for you. Leave us till tomorrow. So won't you let me trip X-rated. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, we're higher than the ceiling.
All right, we're going to dive into the housing stats, but I wanted to share a couple things with you before we do.
Okay.
Just real quick, as of to date, the demand for entry-level single-family homes, they remain unchanged, and this obviously reflects the low inventory that we're dealing with right now and affordability challenges for buyers that are out there. Luxury condos still maintain the highest buyer interest right now, so we're pretty excited about that, but there is a slight cooling off for demand as of last month. The luxury single-family homes, they do face slower demand amid of course, the limited inventory. There's mid-market single-family homes that are experiencing a modest softening as well, and a lot of that has to do with the seasonality of what we're dealing with. Is that a word? Seasonality?
It is
If it's
now,
not,
honey.
I just invented
It's a
that
Robert
word.
McArtor word.
That's right. A little bit of a slow demand right now, and of course that's because of the season and interest rates. And of course, townhomes remain in slow demand, but we do definitely see that they are going to rise. The demand for all these properties is going to rise as the winter season wanes behind us, and we move into a volatile spring and summer market.
So I'm just going to put it out there. We have a few clients looking for single family in the Harford County, Bel Air area, Forest Hillish, Whitehall, which can be Baltimore County and Harford County, Jarrettsville. So we need a single family 3-bedroom,
Correct.
$500,000 and below. Let us know if you are thinking about selling. We have a great qualified buyer for you. So I just want to let you know. Sorry, I was like, we've had to bring our puppy with us everywhere we go. She's getting older. She needs some senior
So
housing.
she's in her. She
So
does,
I'm like,
yes.
who is
Our senior little dog.
nibbling my foot? So, but honestly, I've took her to TJ Maxx the other day too. So
That's right.
we bring her wherever we go. Anyway, so if you're thinking about buying or selling, or if you have something you are considering selling, we have a list of buyers. So please just give us a
Yep.
call, interview us, put us there on that list, and we'd be more than glad to help you.
Let's dive into the housing stats, and we'll be right back.
Get you whatever you want. I'll settle for nothing. As long as we can keep the fire. I'll do whatever you do. Follow you anywhere. If our chances are getting brighter. But I want you to know I can't help but fight this feeling. I want you to try. Imagine living without it.
All right, we're back. I think there was one that I
Awesome.
skipped over, but no
Did you?
problem. I'll revisit it
That's
again.
okay.
Yep.
Next in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. That's right.
So we would love for you to join us in 2 weeks, on January 22nd. We will be having the owners of the Potted Beach. It's a new store that's opened up in Rising Sun, sells books and plants and all kinds of gifts. It's an extension off Rise and Grind. So if you've had coffee up there or something to eat, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I am a huge fan of plants and the garden. I'm going to probably post an article about, I may have already, how important it is to have plants in your house.
I love plants with
For
plants all the time.
oxygen, cleansing, all this technology we
I get
have.
it.
Anyway,
It's going to be a great show.
honor them.
It is going to be a
But
great show.
anyway, yes, we'd love for you to join us to support local. That's what we are known for, wanting to support local. So we hope you have a great week
Have a great week, Maria. We are better what?
together.
We are better together. And remember this, if you are looking to sell or buy a home, keep Maryland Homes team at the top of the list of those that you're going to interview. You will be shocked at what we can do for you as far as our marketing is concerned. We are top level, and we would love to be able to be the professional of choice for your next transaction.
And it's all about you.
It's all about you. That's right. Exactly.
Have a
Take
great
care.
week.
Have a great week. We'll talk.
What's your story? What's your sign? It's like we're twin flames in a different life. Deep connection lights a spark. It's like you know me in the depths of my heart. We're dreamers. Don't care what other people say. We're living like this could be our final day. We're dreamers. Don't care what the others say. We're doing this in our way. We come alive in the nighttime. Something about how we dance in the moonlight. That look in your eyes, it tells me that you want me and all my loving. We come alive in the nighttime. You and I, we come alive. We come alive. We come alive. What's your weakness? What's your type? Somehow